Oh, dang. Looks like we're live. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Actually, post in the chat if you can hear me because I had to turn down my volume on everything so that it doesn't play through the mic. Just realized there's also a 12-second delay in this. What up? Was it JS Codings and Gusta Bus are both members. Thank you, thank you. Sweet. It's super weird not being able to hear yourself or know if other people could hear you. Talking to a camera is weird. And I set this up a little bit different this time, so I'm going to be looking like above the camera to read comments and stuff. I'm going to be honest, it's more for my comfort with my one arm shenanigans that I have going on right now. So, hey Brandon, if the join button is not there, are you doing it in the YouTube app or in a browser? I found out that if you use the little browser that comes on like an Android phone, that little like fake browser that's not actually Chrome, the join button is not there. So you have to go into an actual YouTube app or whatever. Glenn Collymore, I'm good after surgery. Super annoying. So I'm not stoked on anything right now, but no real pain. I mean, I'm using Tylenol at this point to deal with the pain. So, I mean, everything's fine. It just sucks only having one arm, honestly, not being able to work. That's like, I know you guys don't know me super well, but not being able to work freaks me out. I work a lot of hours, so when I can't work, it just weighs on me a bunch. Oh, somebody see Molly in the background? Yeah, Bentley. Oh, you can see his white nose. I don't know how to point on here, actually, now that I'm saying this out loud, but you can see Bentley's little white nose on the couch. Molly will be wandering around because that's what she does. Oh. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, the process is going well for recovery here, so super stoked. I'm going to try something real quick since there's not a ton of people in here right now, or right this second anyway. I just want to see if this actually shows up on the feed the way that it should. I'm just going to be showing you guys some of the shirts. Oh, yeah, that's a bummer, JS Codings. That's way too... 3 months is too much. Well, they told me 8 weeks. They told me in 12 weeks I'd be able to golf, which is the whole reason that I'm having surgery. Oh, sweet. The shirt thing does work. But it was it's been a thing. When will I be able to get back? I mean, I don't know. I have an appointment on the 9th. It's making me approve your comment because it says pussy in it. I wish I could get rid of that. I have an appointment on the 9th to like see where things are, and then I don't know. I know that I can't lift more than 2 pounds right now with my left hands, and that's a can of soda, I'm told, is about 2 pounds. So I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be able to get back to normal. Luckily, I'm teaching my lady friend powder coat, which I'm going to be making some videos of that for you guys, actually. I kind of went over this in the last video that I put up, or second to last video I put up. Am I going to be explaining... Oh, wait, let me read these in order. Chris, yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Glad I got it taken care of, too. It's only been... This accident that caused my wrist surgery is from November of 2017, so it's been a long time coming. If I had the money, I would totally volunteer to fly up to SLC and work for you free just to learn. Yeah, I'd be down. I don't mind teaching people how to powder coat. I hate it sometimes, but teaching somebody who's actually going to go out and use it for something that's not my competition would be ideal. I think I've taught 3 people how to actually powder coat for me here that were going to be like helping me, and they all went and worked for my competition. Well, 2 of the 3 went and worked for my competition. So, which is fine. I mean, I probably should have made them sign something that said that they wouldn't do that, but it was my mistake for teaching people how to powder coat and just assuming they'd be cool about the whole thing. So, is this pussy powder going to give us the lowdown? Yeah, you want the lowdown on unicorn pussy? I can do it right now. I actually have it sitting in front of me, like no joke. Wait, you guys are saying that you keep cutting out. I have, I don't know. It says that this stream, it says excellent connection. So I don't know. I don't know how to help with any of that, guys. When you say it's cutting out, like what's cutting out? The audio or the video or both or what? I hate that there's a 12-second delay. I got sent to a video. I don't know what that means, guys. So if anybody can tell me. Damn, we have 10 viewers and 10 likes. That's what I'm screaming. I even have this, where's this thing at? Oh no, is it gone now? Oh, you know what? I bet it's hiding now. Oh, that sucks. I totally hit it. It just booted me to one of your videos for no reason. That's super weird. Wait, it's weird that it's cutting out for some of you, but not others. Your video's lagging out for some. Yeah, it's weird. I wonder why that's happening to some people, but not others, though. It doesn't make any sense. Hey, so I guess since some of you guys are in here, I mean, there's a few of you members. The guys with green names in here are members. Are any of you other guys having an issue where you don't see the join button? There's been a couple people in here said that there was no join button, so I haven't exactly figured out why that's happening. I found a couple little issues, but it's all like, I guess on your guys' end, it's just the way that you're looking at the videos. There's a link actually down in this video. If you click that, you can go straight to the join page and do it that way. You can also, I think, just put in it's youtube.com. Was it youtube.com/unknowncodings/join? Like, here, I guess I can put it in the chat since I just read that all out loud. You have to pardon my typing with sort of one hand here. Codings. Oh, typing actually sucks the worst out of all these things. Can I find it? Because I was going to join. Yeah, if you guys go to that link, or I don't know if you can copy and paste that, or if you just want to type that in a browser or whatever, that'll take you straight to the page. I've tested this with like 5 different people to make sure that this actually works. It's kind of weird for me because I see it as me, not you guys, so it's much different. I guess since we've already been on for almost 10 minutes now, some of you saw like a brief little hint of how unicorn pussy actually works was in episode 68, I think it is. And I got a bunch of people. I actually got a couple texts, phone calls. I got messages, a couple but comments on the videos were like, was that a spray can that was putting the unicorn pussy flake on? And the answer is yes, but it is not spray paint. That is the one thing that I guess I need to make really clear. I tried for 4 years to come up with the flake for unicorn pussy, or to come up with, I was trying to match SSR Spectrum Silver, which I still haven't been able to do. And admittedly, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it in a powder environment. So what ended up happening was I bought different flakes. I found the exact same flake that SSR Spectrum Silver used. The problem with that is the color burns out in the oven. And actually, if you deal with SSR wheels at all, and specifically that color, anybody who's ever tracked their car with SSR Spectrum Silver wheels will tell you that the color burns out pretty quickly. So it's not a thing that's going to be able to go through an oven. With that being said, oh, hey, thanks, Green Mountain Media and Blasting, another member. With that being said, I bought flakes and tried all different ways of doing all different things. I wish that people knew exactly how much time I had spent trying to make this all work, but it's the process was super tedious. And then once I finally figured out a flake that didn't burn, the color didn't burn out in the oven, and it was small, which was the biggest thing I didn't want. The city lights, Rainbow's End, Aura lights, some of those, they all have huge flakes in them, and the color isn't that tight. It's not that dynamic. I mean, you guys, anybody who's seen Unicorn Pussy or a video of Unicorn Pussy or pictures of it compared to like City Lights or any of those other kind of generic, off the shelf powders, it's a much different animal, obviously. No pun intended, being a unicorn. So what I ended up having to do, that flake, I would used to try to mix it in clear, and I would spray it, and it seemed like the flake that was sticking because of gravity. It's almost like the flake wouldn't take a charge. And then I had one of my electronics nerds friends do some testing on it, and basically we can't get it to take a static charge. It's a metal flake. It doesn't burn. I mean, the color burned out of it at about 600 degrees, we found out. But it can't stick to things with an electric charge. So that being said, I went back and forth with, I work with a local paint place here. It's actually where I buy a couple different types of powder they sell. They sell other brands. NCS is National Coating Supply. I bring them a bag of the clear, and a bag of the flake, and they actually mix it into a can of, it's essentially like a spray paint can, like an aerosol can, but the only thing that's in it is a carrier. So when you spray it out, it doesn't really have a smell or anything. When you spray it out, the flake goes and it sticks on the part exactly how you want. And you can layer it. You can put on as much as you want. There is a point where if you put on so much, it turns very silver and not so black, I guess. Black with a base. Super echo now? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to fix any of this because I'm literally just watching the thing. I appreciate all the likes, though, by the way. Got 26 viewers in here right now and 17 likes. You guys want to bump that up? I wouldn't be mad about it at all, I promise. With that being said, I'm going to see if I can move this. Oh, yeah. See, give this video a thumbs up. Sorry, I've been working on that. With that being said, I ended up bringing them the flake. They mixed it into, a can with a carrier. Legitimately, this is how I get the cans. I don't know. Oh, God, I can't lift my arm that high. They're literally a handwritten label. I don't know if this will actually focus on that. There we go. It's got my name. It's got a reference to the original order number that I did, or not the original, one of the order numbers I did to make this all work. And it's got the shop phone number on it. The reference to that is just in my original order is just to make it work. So they mix this. This is like, I'm going to spray this in here just because it's not chemical at all, but it's that. It's literally, there's no smell, not much of a smell. Doesn't smell anything like spray paint. And that's what you put the flake on with. With that being said, once the flake is on, you can't, I don't know the right way to say this. If you rub the part, the flake will come off. So you can't jar the part much. You got to remember, this is literally sprayed onto a part and stuck just because you sprayed it there. You could wipe it off if you really wanted to. So the next step, of course, is to clear it. You got to be really careful in applying the clear. The clear goes on just like any other clear. It's no joke. I'm putting it over a partially cured base coat, mirror black in my case. Oh, no problem, Green Mountain. Thanks for joining. All these green names in here is making me stoked. Once you put the clear on, it's same durable, same powder coat, same everything that you normally be used to. So, people have been asking me to buy this color since I came out with this color, basically, and that was it's got to be 2014, maybe, so 6 years ago. And the issue I was having is I could never get enough of the actual flake to make enough to not only do the orders that I had waiting, because there's always orders waiting for this, and be able to sell it to people. And then my big fear was, okay, well, I'm finally getting enough to sell to people, and then I'm not going to be able to have the flake again, and it's going to be a big issue. So I just ordered a huge amount of this flake. I just had 40 cans of this put together. I think I already used 3 of that 40. Glenn, I saw that you just retracted that message. What gun? The gun that you guys see in all the videos is an HSO2. But we're going to kind of get to the gun stuff here a little bit later on because I actually have been using a different gun for the last 2 months. So, anyway, so Unicorn Pussy is going to be available. Corey, what do I use as a base? The base is, I use mirror black. You have to use a highly reflective color, so like a mirror black. It goes really well over chrome, like actual chrome, not powder chrome. It looks like crap. But over actual chrome plating or gold plating, there's if you look on my Instagram or if you're in the UKC Army page, on the UKC Army page, I posted a picture or a video of a valve cover that I did, a Subaru valve cover, and then underneath that there's a bunch of pictures and videos. So in that you can kind of see the base coats, and you can see it over 22 karat gold plating. Yeah, Brandon, you're on the. There's actually, I think the list is only like 6 people, and then I have like a tentative list of people that have told me over the years, like, "Hey, I want it," and I think I'm gonna contact most of them first. I mean, all you guys that are in here, and they're like, "Hey, I want it." Obviously, you have an option to get it, but I'm not gonna like make it truly publicly available until all the people that have wanted it for a while get their hands on it. That just seems like the fair way to do it. So I don't want it to be a thing where I'm like, oh, there's 40 cans available or 37 cans. Do what you can. Oh, yeah, Sten, you're late. Sten, did you get my message? Send me a message about your boy. I guess, is there any other questions? Anybody have questions? I know this is supposed to be a Q&A, and I haven't stopped talking. If you ever sell it, I'll buy it from my shop. I have customers watch your videos and ask about it. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I've had all sorts of people, like other coders from all over, being like, "Hey, is there any way to get Unicorn Pussy?" And I'm just like, "No." Like, it was always a bummer. It's not like I was trying to be weird about it and make sure that it didn't get in anybody's hands. But 3Fs, yo, I'm here. I'm gonna prove this. I'm here. Let's suck that dirty shit. Hey. You guys that are members, there should be special icon things, or not icons, special images that you can put in the chat. There's some kind of funny ones in there, I think. 3S, let's see. Let's see. Glenn, adequately covered. Flashlights most of the time. I mean, I have a pretty good idea of it now. Just I can spray apart and know that it's right or within good enough range, but if I question it, I end up all these great names in here making me smile. Oh wait, why are those so small? No, these little tiny images. That one that's green right there is my favorite. I'm gonna figure out why they're just small, so I apologize, guys. We'll make these bigger. Oh God, let me go back up. I don't remember what I was asking. Oh yeah, adequately covered. So I can usually just look at it. I have an idea of what it takes to coat things normally. So that being said, if I question it, like on sheet metal's the like big flat panels is kind of one of the ones that's a pain usually for almost everybody. Same as everybody else though. I just use a LED flashlight, get a glimpse back at it. Unless you're doing it, like a silver or chrome or something, then an LED flashlight's not too much help, honestly. What other companies do you use powders from? So I use mostly Prizmatic, obviously. I think everybody knows that. But I use Sherwin-Williams, a couple different colors from Sherwin. I use IFS when they reply to emails or phone calls or texts. Honestly, I've been having a ton of issues with IFS. My sales rep just sucks. I mean, I don't want to sit and like bash on anybody, but my sales rep sucks. And luckily, I'm not the only person who feels that way. I saw a post on another Facebook group saying the same thing. So I love a couple of the IFS powders. I mean, they're all generic, kind of black. I like their silver yellow is awesome. One of their golds is really great too, but I use mostly just so much of their black colors. Matte Black 2, Super Wet Black. Like I said, Sherwin, a couple powders from APP. Another, I don't want to bash anybody, but APP's color matching is just, I bought 2 pounds of powder and then I bought a pound of powder, or maybe it was 2 pounds and then 2 pounds. And even those 2 pounds didn't match each other, and neither one of them matched the color that I needed it to. So this was a color that they just had on their website that anybody could grab. And Matt's usually pretty helpful, but he did the same thing he always does. Like, oh, well, are you sure it's the right color? And I'm like, yeah, man, we did this off the VIN. Like it says right inside the door what the color code is. It's not like this is a big question. Aside from that, I just got some powders from another company. I don't want to say who yet because I actually haven't sprayed them. I just don't want to like put their name out there either way. I'm going to spray them and we'll see how it goes. And then I just ordered some powders from China. I know there's some people out there talking about like secret colors and secret chromes and clears, but they're literally just from a company in China. If anybody wants to know, just message me and I'll send you a link. You can buy it. You can buy it on Alibaba, or AliExpress even. The one downside is if you're not buying a bunch, shipping is stupid expensive. I bought some of the samples, about like 3 and 5 pound samples, and then this powder is anywhere from $5 a pound to $10 a pound. Nothing crazy. Shipping was $180. So, but I have an interest in one of their colors, so it's worth it to at least do it. And I'm gonna do some testing with it and let you guys check it out. But besides that, that's pretty much all I buy powder from. I've never bought powder from like Columbia. I bought powder from Powder by the Pound once before I realized that it was actually just an IFS color, and then I bought it from IFS the next time. Beyond that, that's pretty much it. Just all the generic ones everybody knows. If the part doesn't turn out, do you just scuff with a Scotch-Brite pad, or you just strip and blast it with Unicorn, or just in general? I mean, it really depends on how it didn't turn out. Like if you have an issue with gloss black and there's like something, you have like weird spots in gloss black, a lot of times that can literally be sanded and polished out. Other colors, that's not the same. Metallics, obviously, it's definitely not the same. I usually just, because, like say I'm doing 4 wheels and one of them's weird, I usually just strip it and redo it. It's not worth it to try to go back and fix something and hope that it turns out again. Plus now you have different amounts of powder on the part, and I'd rather give my customers something, decent the whole time. As shouts to Bentley walking by. Unicorn Pussy, I mean, if the part doesn't turn out with the flake, you can wipe the flake off. So as long as your base coat's okay and your clear's okay, you could mess up the flake and just wipe it off and start over. But this is not going to be the one downside, I guess, before everybody jumps in and says that they want this is it's not going to be cheap. It's incredibly expensive. Oh, I just realized what's missing. Wait a minute. I totally just realized what's missing. Hold on. Yeah, that. I mean, this can right here, I'm guessing. So this can, you could probably do a full set of wheels if you're like mostly just doing the faces. I usually will use a can and a half probably to do a full set of wheels. But this can is going to be, you're going to be looking at like the $75 range, $70 to $75 range, which I know sucks. I get that it's a cool color, and I know people are plenty willing to pay it. Trust me, I've had to charge a ton to do people's jobs in this color forever, and people are very willing to pay it. But it does suck. Let's see. I'm just now playing catch up, guys. Sorry, I didn't realize that there was a bunch of questions that it didn't keep going. Let's see. Gun nozzle video. Which nozzle for what? Actually, I just had the opportunity right before surgery. I had the opportunity to do that a little bit. I had to shoot the exact same type of material in 3 very distinctly different shapes. So I actually shot some tubing out of 6061 T6, some sheet metal in it, and then I did this really intricate box that was welded together. I mean, still out of the same sheet metal, obviously, but I actually had the opportunity to do that. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit more information in that video because that video, if I put it together now, is under 10 minutes, and I'd like it to be longer and go a little more in depth. But I'm gonna get that together here in the next couple of days, honestly, because that I'm like right on the edge of being able to figure that out. What's up, Kevin Kane? Let's see, good nozzle video. Let's see, black spots. No, I get no black spots. In fact, the new Super Chrome, I don't even think can have the black spots. The black spots are from Super Chrome 1, or the original, the previous Super Chrome. That's definitely not Super Chrome 1. But those black spots would happen. It's the same thing that happens if you rub like a polish on that color, that dark gray that pops through. That color is what you see. It's usually there's a contaminant on the substrate. It could be water in your lines, but it's usually a contaminant on the substrate that causes that. The new Super Chrome doesn't even have that same black at all. You can't even get it to do that. I tried a couple times. So if you're getting black dots in that, it's probably contamination in your line somewhere, and not necessarily water. I'm saying like contamination from another powder, probably. We made a video the other day that I kind of messed up some of the footage on the audio of it, so I think I'm gonna have to like voice it over, of how to clean guns, how to clean fluidizing hoppers, the hoppers that I use. I'm actually gonna put that in the same video as how to make the hoppers that I use and where to get the parts and how much they are and all that. So I just put some of those together right before surgery. So what base can you use under neon yellow? I tried orange and red, but both bleed. What are you trying to do, JS? Like, why would you use a base under neon yellow? Or am I missing something? Usually, if you're having an issue with bleed through, clear, specifically acrylic clear, will definitely lock a color in place so you can put another color on top of it. I don't know if that helps you in this, but ask me another question and we'll see. Didn't even know Sherwin-Williams sold powders, and I used to work there. Sherwin-Williams line of powder is called Powdura. I use their mirror black, and then I actually just recently bought, I think, matte black from them. They have a couple different matte blacks. It depends on what line you're getting stuff out of, but let's see. Still waiting on how to. Yeah, so 3F. I just bought a drill press. I've wanted a drill press for a while, so this is the reason that I bought it. But I want to use the drill press to show you guys the right way to drill out rivets versus not taking them out. I've kind of mentioned in the past taking clay. The clay way is literally take modeling clay. There's modeling clay that's like stays pretty like rock hard. Not like rock hard. It doesn't crumble. You don't have to keep adding water to it or anything either, so it stays like pliable. I shove that down in to like seal off baffles, to plug baffles, basically for sandblasting. Then you just pop it out before curing, obviously. You can always you can buy a big brick of that at like a pottery, like a clay making place, a pottery place. I don't know, whatever they sell pottery stuff. There's one right up the street from my shop. You can buy a big brick of that for nothing. I mean, I think I spent like $12 and I've used it for 3 years or 4 years now, and I'm not even halfway through it. So, and you can reuse it over and over too. That's the other thing. I actually I have a bunch of plates, these kits that I was going to sell. This was all the way back in like 2012, that are like for the really common valve covers that probably a lot of us, well, at the time I was doing a lot of like SRT4, SR20, the Evo valve covers, various years of Evo valve covers, all the Honda stuff, B series, K series. And these were plates that you would basically like bolt in place using factory holes to do everything. And it was like a panel underneath, and it basically sealed off the bottom of the valve cover for people. I could still do that. I don't know if that's the thing you guys are interested in. Let me know. I still have the files for probably 20 valve covers. I made a bunch of them. I'll have to try to dig them up. I'll see if I can post them in the community page or something like that. And shouts to 39 viewers. Hey, can we get more likes on this thing? I don't know. I was going to do my little stupid likes thing, but I actually don't even remember where it is. So, it's right there. Chris, let's see. Any insight on trying to replicate Hyper Blue? So Hyper Blue is a weird one, man. Hyper Blue has actually changed twice from Volk. If it makes you feel better, so has Volk Blue from them. Or Mag Blue, Mag Blue. If it's the Hyper Blue that I am thinking of, I have always matched it with Hyper Silver and Pika Blue. It should have a metallic base. It has a blue on the red side of blue, so on the like purple side of blue, as like a top coat. Theirs is actually not there. That's one of their wet paint ones. They have a powder base, and then they put a wet paint base, and then a the blue base, and then I think they actually clear or blue top coat, and then they actually clear it as well. So some of their wheels, all their wheels have a powder base. Some of them are anodized, some are painted, some are powder coated. It depends. The biggest thing is finding out the year. I have a year range guide somewhere on this computer that I can definitely, like, if you know the year that they were made, which there'll be a sticker on the back that'll say the production date. If you're trying to replicate that exact same color, if you're just trying to get as close as you can, just do Pika Blue over Heavy Silver. Works like a champ. Mark, we actually just finished shooting all those. I'm going to start. That's actually some of the videos that are going to be going up now that I'm disabled or whatever. It took us a long time, probably longer than we should have taken to do it, but I think once you guys see how in-depth these videos get, we were initially, I think, going to do 6 videos, and it's now turned into 9. Partway through, I kind of get rid of some of the guns that are just not performing that well, and move on to some of the other guns and bettering the settings on those and stuff. And that's kind of what turned it into making 9 instead of 6. So those should be popping up here anytime. My buddy's actually was helping me do all the shooting. He's actually doing all the editing for those. I did figure out that with my hand in this brace, I actually suck at editing videos. It takes me way longer to do everything. So, do you say your oven temp higher to what the powder requires and the part to get there faster? No. If it's a 400 degree cure, I'll probably put it like 403 or 405. I'd try to put it on 400, but it's one of those things where I'm just holding the button down till it gets there, and sometimes I'll pass it by a couple. So if it's 400 degrees, like, I've never put it past 407, if that gives you an example. White Pony, this says, does the powder scratch easily? Does what powder scratch easily? I mean, in general, I'm going to say no. But that doesn't, that isn't a universal truth. Properly cured powder should not scratch easily. Let's see. What if you have black spots on the orange? Then you post them on Instagram and tell everybody it looks great. I don't know 3F. I don't. If you have black spots on the orange, it means you didn't clean your gun and you need to redo your part. That's the best way of saying it. Carlos, best sandblasting media and what grit, what size hose and CFM are you shooting at? So I use Green Diamond. It's literally in like every one of my videos. So there's a link in the description of every one of my videos to the company who sells it. You want to find a local supplier unless you're going to buy in huge quantities. But figure I use 3060 Green Diamond. I blast 55 to 60 psi, half-inch hose. I blast everything in a cabinet. So I actually just looked at was it today? No, yesterday. I went and looked at a 20-foot container to do blasting inside because we're expanding a couple things, I guess is the best way I can say. I don't want to get too far into that now, but we're going to have to step up the blasting a little bit for this shop. I'm running a compressor that when we monitored, I had a local compressor place do some checks on it, and it's putting out like 23 CFM. I think it's rated slightly at like 21 or something like that. So, but it's great. I mean, it's a great setup for what I do, and I'm 110-pound pot from Harbor Freight works like a champ. So, unless the cost is up there with cocaine, I'm in. Dude, it's close, Chris. It's close, bro. Like $75 a can, man. Like, and it's not. Understand that at $75 a can, I'm probably making enough money to go and pick it up from the place that I have make it. Like, there's not me making money on this or anything. Honestly, like it sucks. That's how expensive it is. So I'm actually, I just ordered a bunch more of that flake. I have, I think, 37 of the cans made right now. The guys who put the cans together for me actually informed me that the chemical that they use as the carrier, they're having a really hard time getting. They don't get many requests for it. I'm probably the only person who uses it. So they're having a hard time getting that. So they have a tank. They have a bunch of it right now. So I ordered a bunch more of that flake. They think looking at what their reserves are right now, they have enough to make about another 50 cans, somewhere in that range. So we're gonna try to knock all those out as best we can. JS coatings, Brembo calipers. I don't know. Oh, you're talking about the colors, like bleed through for lettering. Yeah, it's a tough one. I would acrylic clear would work really well. You could also, depending on what color combination you're trying to do, you could shoot the logo last. The masking process would be backwards, obviously. A little harder to pull off, a little harder to mask, but I've done it. I mean, sometimes you got to get a little creative. That's part that kind of sucks. Daniel H. Sweet was hoping for a hopper and cleaning video. Yeah, I went and got all the stuff to like show the cleaning video, and then I just kind of let it sit for a while, and I finally had recorded a bunch of it. It's a bummer. Like I have a whole whiteboard full of video stuff and like where I'm at in the process and what still needs done for each video, and it sucks having to work. Like having to put out products for customers, and also try to make videos for you guys, but I'll keep working at it. I mean, luckily, you guys are asking to see stuff that I'm kind of doing most of the time anyway. I just got to find the time to also record it while I do it. Alan, thanks. I think that's a goat, right? Hopefully that's a goat. Do the name in orange and bleed through into neon yellow. Yeah, JS, I would try acrylic clear, man. Neon yellow is one of those hard ones because the pigment in it actually does pull color on its own. Just the type of pigment it is. I would try an acrylic clear and try to spray the orange only where you want it, and then only clear that whole area. That'd be the best bet, in my opinion. Also, it might depend on what neon yellow you're using. If you can get away with doing something like a 3-stage, well, you might have to do 4-stage actually at that point. You could do glowing yellow or like shocker yellow, pretty much the same thing, over white, and that makes neon. So you could do your orange, acrylic clear over that, put white down, and then that gives you a whole nother layer of separation. Although white tends to pull color too. Mason B, what's your part preparation process like? Do you just sandblast, blow off the parts, and then spray and experience, or recommend a primer? Yeah, I mean, most of the time. Chemically strip, sandblast, outgas. I lightly sandblast again, depending on the part, honestly. There's some variables in that. Usually just blow everything off. If there's anything that's a question, I mean, I have phosphate spray that I could spray and clean everything with, acetone, stuff like that. I try not to do a lot of touching of the parts after I'm done, and I don't mean with my fingers necessarily. I just mean I don't like putting rags on them or anything, because then you got to go through. You can use a torch to burn off all the lint and stuff. It's a little pro tip for those of you guys who don't do that typically. But you can go in and use that and do the torch to get rid of lint, and then just spray your colors. As far as primer, I use primer when it's needed. The few times that I'll use primer are on like a off-road bumper, rock sliders, things like that. Stuff that's going to be outside, that's going to take a beating, be exposed to the elements constantly. That type of stuff, I'll always do a primer. The other time I'll do a primer is, say I have a part that's got some pitting or weird marks in it and stuff like that I can't sand out. I'll use primer as basically a body filler. So I put it in, sand it all down, get it smooth again, and then start spraying my colors, whatever the colors might be. Beyond that, there's not really a reason for primer. I mean, primers, it's an extra step for you. I mean, Black Label Coatings, he primes everything and then hand sands everything, and then I'm sure charges a ton for it. And there's nothing wrong with doing it. It's just an extra step that I don't necessarily find necessary in the process. If I had a customer ask for it, I'd of course be happy to do it. It's just it's more of a preference thing. I use primer, zinc-based primer, mostly to stop rust on steel parts. Beyond that, there's not too much use for it. Oh, I just scrolled way past all these questions. Hold on here. Sorry, guys. So to help orange peel, I had someone tell me to powder my rims, let them flow out, then take out and let cool. Yeah, Green Mountain, that's sort of true. I mean, theoretically, though, you're putting more powder on than you would have needed to, right? I mean, you're effectively putting a second coat on, even though it's a light coat. And I feel like anytime that you pull parts out of the oven and give them that cool down, and then you're spraying, a second coat, whatever the coat might be, every one of those is a new opportunity to have something go wrong. And so I try to limit stuff like that as best as possible. If you're having a crazy issue with orange peel, it's more likely a ground or a gun setting, or powder. The powder that you're using might suck. I don't know what powder you're using for this necessarily, but most of the time, if you have an issue with orange peel, it's a setup issue, grounding, gun, setting on the gun, whatever the case might be. I've seen powders that are a pain in the ass and always look, a ton of orange peel on them. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it, and that's just how it is. But you can usually find a suitable color that matches that one that doesn't have the same issues with orange peel. So, I mean, like Illusions, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a lot of the Illusion colors close up, but when you spray like a big part with Illusion, there's always orange peel. There's just no getting away from it. It's not, and it might not be drastic, but you're not getting that like great mirror finish out of it basically ever. So, looking to get this used cool coat DWP for $800. I think it's a good deal. Yeah, it could be. Actually, I have no idea how much that gun goes for new. I think, isn't that gun pretty expensive? That's well over $1,000. So I think for $800, it's a good deal. I don't know. I don't know too much about it, Mark. There might be somebody else in here that knows, or if you guys want to jump over to the UKC Army page on Facebook. I know that there's been people asking questions in there and getting good answers from people. So, Daniel Weaver, which gloss black is the best for you? Honestly, I like IFS Super Wet Black, but because they suck at selling me powder, I use Sherwin-Williams, their Powdura line of Mirror Black. I think it's actually called Mirror Black 2, but I don't think they even have the old Mirror Black one anymore. So it's a great, you see any of the gloss black stuff I do, that's what I use, and it's been great. Honestly, I love the IFS. You buy big box powder from IFS, you're spending, I think it's $200 for a 55-pound box shipped. So if you're doing a lot of black, a lot of gloss black, it's perfect. What do you think about that? I did it with black and it worked. Green Mountain, if that worked, that's great, but it would almost seem like there wasn't enough powder to begin with. You know what I mean? Like if you added powder, normally adding powder to something does not reduce orange peel, because the more powder that goes on, the more buildup of electricity you have on the surface, which is what causes orange peel typically. So it might just be a thing where you didn't quite have enough powder to begin with. I would suggest you can buy a mil thickness gauge. Just buy a cheap one on Amazon. You can buy them for like under $30 now, I think. And check your thicknesses. That would be, your mil thicknesses is what's going to be playing the biggest role right there. Still trying to do a video, or still planning to do a video comparing different blasting media. Sort of. That 10X company reached out to me. Somebody recommended that they reach out to me, and they did. And I asked them maybe about buying, some of their media to do some testing with, and then I literally never heard anything from them. So I don't have, if you guys want to see something tested, for sure, make the recommendation. I'm so happy with the 3060 Green Diamond that for me, there's no point to testing anything. I'm happy to test your guys's, if you guys have stuff you want to do and you don't want to go out and blow the money to test different things, I'm happy to do it. So just let me know. If there's another product that's not from that 10X place, I keep telling myself I want to order the DuPont Sandblast because I've heard it's literally amazing. No dust, doesn't break up. Great surface prep. Everything about it supposedly is great. But need you to try clear powder over hydrographics. Oh, no, I've done it. Yeah, I've cleared over hydro. You have to use acrylic clear, low cure, so 340 cure. You got to remember most of the time you're doing that over a paint. I've powder coated and had hydrographics done and then powder cleared. I've also had paint stuff and then hydrographics and then powder clear. So I've for sure done it. It works just fine. You just can't use, you're not gonna be able to use like a 400-degree curing clear. You'll burn, a lot of times you'll burn the image itself. Unless it's, if you can get away, you might be able to do it on a thin part. You're just not gonna be able to do it on a part that's taking a bunch of heat to heat up. You can't let it sit in the oven for that long. Post them on Instagram and say they look great. Wait, Brandon, what am I posting on Instagram and say they look great? Thank you so much, bro. Keep it up. Hey, thanks, Carlos. Corey, my media lasts me. I buy usually 200 pounds at a time. Like I said, the place that I get it from is like legitimately up the street from me. So I have that advantage. I can go grab. I'll go grab bags of that, and I would say probably once a month, maybe. And I probably change it out sooner than I need to. Um, I can still take a bunch of mine that's not broken down, and it works perfect. So, um, so I would say, I mean, 200 pounds. I can go through 200 pounds in we'll say like a month and a half. Do-it-yourself hopper video. Yeah, Garage Built. Earlier, I was talking about in the cleaning and like how to build your own hoppers like mine and where to get all the parts. I actually started doing that video. It actually might be one that I can finish even while handy capable here. So I'll see if I can work that out. You write that down real quick. Right with my right hand, which PS is not my dominant hand. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but I powder coat left-handed almost always. Put that in there. All right, and then let's see. Drew the Destroyer, I have a question with curing. Let's say you're curing something at 400 degrees for 12 minutes. You just throw it in the oven for 12 minutes. Wait for the part. Oh, you wait for the part. You wait till the part is up to temperature. So curing cycles, with the exception of a few random powder companies, who I have no idea why they do this. Most powder companies, when they say 400 degrees for 12 minutes, that's part metal temperature, meaning the part needs to be 400 degrees, and then you start your timer at 12 minutes. There's some variables for that. Like if it's a big, heavy part, and it gets to 375, and it lingers getting up to 385, for example. You can actually do parts at 375 for a longer cure time. So in that case, if it's 400 for 12 minutes, on a lot of powders, you can do 375 for 18 minutes or whatever the case might be. There's usually a chart on different companies' websites that have different cure rates depending on the substrate that you're curing, just because there's so many variables involved, obviously, in that. Daniel Weaver, God, every time I scroll down, this literally goes all the way down to the very bottom. Let's see, Daniel Weaver. There's a store in Florida, who sells green diamond at $16 for 50-pound bags. That's a little expensive. It's more than I pay, for sure. I know the place that I get it from is one of the biggest distributors for it, though, and they sell it to the state and county here. The state and county use it a ton here. When they sandblast the roads to paint new stripes, that's actually the product that they use to do a lot of that. So I pay $13 or $13.65 for a 100-pound bag. But $16 for 50 pounds isn't a ton, in my opinion. It's definitely cheaper than aluminum oxide and all those other ones. And so it's a great media. But if you have something that you like that's cheaper and more accessible, or you can buy it in bigger bags for the same price, like definitely go that route. Do you have any of the black and gold guns you could show? So the guns are only black. Do you mean the gun itself, Kevin? Sorry, I realize how far I am behind on these. The gun itself, like the actual unit that you would hold in your hand, is all black with the exception of the 2 buttons on the back. Or do you just mean the units? I guess let me know. I'm using Chartreuse Sherbert. Oh, that sucks. So that's a expensive yellow you get to play with, right? Isn't that Chartreuse Sherbert one of Prizmatic's like stupid expensive powders? Glenn, you're answering Drew the Destroyers. How often do you use a zinc prep spray? Leave a residue. I don't ever use. Well, phosphate. I think this phosphate has zinc in it, but I only use phosphate spray. I don't use anything that's like specific, like a zinc prep spray. I'm not even sure what that would be, honestly. Randomized UKC gun. That's right. Loving the UKC Facebook page. Oh yeah, you guys. So I put all my social medias. You guys are welcome to add me on like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. We also have the UKC Army page, which has been pretty. I think it's like 178 members, 176 members, or something like that. You guys should definitely join that if you haven't yet. God, I just scrolled this thing down again. Daniel Weaver, I have a cool code, DPW 3.0. It works great. Oh, that must be a reference to one of the questions above. Did you try Green Diamond 3050? If so, did you see a difference? No, I've used 4070, and then I've used, they used to have a product, I believe it was called 7140, but that 7140 was not a reference necessarily to the grit. It was their Foundry Sand line, which I think they label a little different, but it was a much softer or finer sand, so it wasn't nearly as aggressive on parts. That's the only other one I've tried, with the exception of I think there's one that's like 2040 or 2050. I have seen sprayed on steel or used to powder or sandblast steel, and it's definitely aggressive. We'll say that. But that was also with 185 CFM blaster, and pretty aggressive setup. MIT, I have no idea, and I don't know anything about MIT powder. I used to have, I think one of their employees was on my Facebook for a long time. I haven't seen any of those posts in a long time, but I know nothing about their powder, Gary, so unfortunately I can't answer. Orange with black spots on Instagram. Gotcha. Mark, yeah, no problem, man. Always glad that I can help. Drew, you're talking to them. I used to use Graham in the 3060. I did get a free trial bag, I assume bag, of 10X shipped to me. I was so prepared to laugh and stick. Even with the cost, I'm thinking of switching. Wait, Chris, are you saying that the 10X is better than the Green Diamond? Or I'm sorry, I might be reading that wrong, so my apologies. Corey Spears, how did you teach yourself to use the correct KV settings for multiple coats, and do you use your UA setting, or how to? I can't adjust. Well, on the gun that you guys see me coat with, I can't adjust milliamps at all. So, as far as honestly, the settings that I've used have always just been recommended settings, initially from Columbia Coatings, and then more from Prizmatic after that. And then for me, honestly, like everything that I've learned powder coating has been trial and error. Like there's definitely resources now which make it much more accessible, the information much more accessible. But it's not. When I started powder coating in 2008, none of that information was available. So it was literally me in my garage spraying different things and just seeing what happened. Trying different things, trying different tips, trying how far away I was from the part. I remember trying at one point spraying, standing like way out of my booth, spraying huge clouds but high KV, seeing if it would pull powder on the part, and it does. It just it doesn't get into Faraday areas, all the normal stuff that you might expect. $25 a pound. Oh, is that chartreuse color, JS? Sorry, you guys. I'm legit. I think I'm catching up now. Brandon is saying yep, but I don't know what to. Oh, that was the Instagram. Yeah. Black and orange dots. Got it. Kevin, yeah, just the gun. Kevin, I actually just got a bunch of the guns. That was so. I guess I don't know if there's any. There's a couple in here, I guess, that have bought guns. The initial batch of guns or of units came with no guns. I apparently knew that when I was, I went back and looked at the messages. I guess I knew that. But when I read the messages, how I read them initially, I thought that was what delayed them shipping out, not that they were shipping without them. And then a big batch of the guns came. I actually have more guns than units now, which is weird, but those guns literally just showed up. So they've been in the country for over 2 weeks now, but they just showed up to me finally. So I'm going to be doing, hopefully, I think, after I get all these other units out this week, I think I'll end up having one that can linger here long enough that I'm going to do a full photo shoot and take pictures of all the black and gold stuff, because I need them for the website actually, specifically. So, and I would be able to. It'd be nice to be able to show people the black and gold units with the blue LEDs and all the little things that I had changed. So, Daniel, oh, you're just talking to all right, Chris Blast profile. Chris, how much is the 10X? I mean, shipping wise and all that. The thing that's going to be hard for me is, let me put your message up here. The thing that's going to be hard for me is that I can go get Green Diamond right now for $13 for 100 pounds. You know what I mean? So the 10X stuff is going to have to be significantly better and not just better on price. It's going to have to be a better profile, and I'm going to have to be able to have access to it. Blast profile is amazing. When are you going to finish your new oven? The new oven, actually, I'm going to have somebody, since I'm, obviously not in a position to do it. One of my contractor buddies, who is normally, he works out of town most of the time. He's going to be in town. He gets in, I think, this Friday, and he's in town for 16 days. So I'm going to have him come and help. He's very technical. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's very detail oriented. So he's going to make sure it's perfect. I got all the sheet metal. I'm doing the outside of it and all polished stainless steel. The outside skin, so like the door and the two sides that you can see are all being polished stainless steel. Just because I thought it looked cool, and it wasn't that much more expensive, honestly, than the galvanized. And then the inside of that, it's a little over 4 foot by a little over 4 foot by 8 foot internally. I don't remember the exact specs. I'll have to figure it out. Working with shitty K-series covers that have oxidation, I can tell a big difference between how much the green diamond levels out the aluminum versus the 10X, less sanding and prep. So is the 10X taking off more material? Is that what you're saying? I think I'm reading that right. The 10X is taking off enough material that you're not having that weird the deterioration that's on every Honda cover basically ever made. Let's see. Do you use a grounding rod in your booth to hang all of your parts off of? So there's a grounding rod right outside my booth. I don't know. So there's a grounding rod outside the booth, and then there's the booth itself obviously is made of steel. That's connected to the grounding rod. And then all my parts hang from that steel frame, and then I have a separate ground. I'm sure you guys have seen that little ground strap. That ground actually runs back, splits to the grounding rod, and goes to the box, the back of the box. So I don't know why I keep holding your guys' messages for review that don't even say anything wild. Oh, it's because you said bitch. God, I'm gonna have to turn that off. That's annoying. So I mean, yeah, I have a grounding rod. But like the booth itself, or the parts aren't hanging from the grounding rod, if that makes sense. They're just hanging from the steel frame, ultimately. They're on that chain, which is connected to the steel frame. I've always used chains to do all of my grounding from, just because they keep a consistent ground, and every once in a while I'll grab the chain and basically like pull it back and forth, and I don't want to say like sands off, but it knocks off anything that might be between the chain and the steel frame. Works really well. It's always worked really well, so I've never changed it. Chris, PVG is a seller. $50 a bag for Star, or for what? Oh, for the 10X. Yeah, it's not worth it for me. Unless I can get it. There's a PVG place local. I wonder if I could just get it from them. But yeah, but $50 a bag for how many pounds? How many pounds is a bag at $50? Kevin, all right, that's perfect, Kevin. White Pony, when is the website? So the website's actually done. I was going over all of it today and kind of yesterday. The only issue I found is that the way that the online store is set up, if you're an international buyer of anything, it won't ship to you. So my guy that's kind of been doing the website stuff is fixing a lot of that, because I don't know that part of it necessarily, or I don't understand how he set it up. Maybe is the best way to say it. So he's just fixing all the international stuff, and then it should be up this weekend with everything, whether that be merch, information, gallery, contact stuff, gun information, guns, all that stuff will be up there. So do you like to use the illusions even with the orange peel issue? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the illusion colors are great, honestly. I mean, there's definitely better candies out there, but the margin for error that you get with other candies is not there with the illusions. The illusions are pretty much, fail safes every time. The orange peel, one thing you can do if you clear them and you're really careful, you can wet sand them and polish it. It's just a slight recommendation. Where did I see? Hold on here. I just moved again. Yeah, Chris, just shoot me actually, anybody who's waiting, just message me at unknowncodians@gmail.com. Especially right now, that's definitely the easiest way for me to reply. You can text me as well. If you're a guy who's bought a gun, you have my personal cell phone number. But right now, email is like the easiest way to reply. I just got my voice to text thing set up so I could email people back easier than trying to type with 1.5 hands. Jason, why do your feet hurt? What do you mean? The S2000 is looking stellar, by the way. I'm pretty stoked to see it. Oh, and I included a little an extra for your engine bay. I looked at your pictures of your engine bay, and I don't know, Jason, if you have one of these parts. I kind of want it to be a surprise, but there's another gold part coming with your stuff. So, and no obligation to use it. If you think it's ugly, don't use it. But I figured it would tie in a little bit with that coil cover. Chris, bitch slaps oxidation is the mall imperfections. All right. Josh, how do you figure out pricing? How do you base special job logos? At first, all my pricing was figured out just by calling other people, other powder coaters, pretending I was just a customer. You can't do that with every job. I would do that with pretty general stuff. And then once I figured out the basic structure, I know this is going to sound ridiculous saying this, but once I figured out kind of what a 4-cylinder valve cover was, like what it took for me to do that, to powder-wise, prep-wise, all the time involved, whatever, almost all of my pricing was based around that to some degree. So I'm like, I can take this, B-series Honda cover. I know how much it costs. I know what the prep work is for this. This project is similar to that, but it's twice the size, but less masking. And I just kind of work out a price in my head. Honestly, like, my pricing it's not all over the board, but like there is no set structure to it other than, I have all my basic stuff, especially for wheels, especially multi-piece wheels. I have like broken down pretty well. Valve cover pricing, compressor housings, things like that. There might be a couple, like $10 variables in compressor housings if there's a little bit of different masking or something like that. But most of it was just calling and figuring out other people's prices and basing my prices. When I started, I was a little bit lower. Now I'm a little bit higher than some of the average for here. It just, it's going to be based more around your area and more your skill level and the quality of work you're putting out, your overhead, things like that. I know how many sets of wheels I have to do a month to cover all my bills. And, I usually hit that within a week. Normally I will pay for all my bills. So a lot of my pricing is based on stuff like that. Let's see, time-wise and prep for all jobs, special logos. Special logos is, for me, is probably a little different than most people just because I have the equipment to make the masking and things like that. And I worked in the sign industry forever, so I have like the knowledge to do it all. As far as pricing, you just got to figure out what the time is worth to you in your situation. I mean, there's so many different ways. There's so many different variables that affect pricing. I have, a shop that I'm in that I pay, what do I pay, $21 or $22.50 a month to be in this shop. And that's just for the shop. So that's not any of the bills with the shop. That's literally just for the shop. And then, I have probably $700 to $800 in bills, just like general bills for the shop, whether that's expendables every month or power, gas, whatever the case might be. Once you have your overhead costs, it's pretty easy to figure out what you're going to need to make and be able to make a living off of it. But like I said, there's so many variables involved in that. It's very specific. When I started my garage, I realized that, I could powder coat a set of wheels every, a couple sets a week and make plenty of money because I have no overhead essentially. My electric bill went up about $100 a month, $150 a month when I worked in my garage, but I didn't have any crazy high bills beyond that. So, once you figure out pricing and dial it in just a little bit, you'll see that everything kind of falls in line. It's not too hard to figure out. Let's see. What are your plans for a sandblast room, like dust collection, recycling your media? No, so I'm doing it in a container with a pot, same setup as always. I'm actually going to put the blasting cabinet in that room as well. And I'll just throw something over top of the glass just so it doesn't get pummeled all the time. But I'll definitely reuse the media. There's no question about reusing the media. That green diamond I recirculate all the time anyway. I have a local blaster who uses the product all the time, and he actually had these like kind of, I guess like a sifter, maybe is probably the best way to explain it, built to get rid of like the dust and crap in his green diamond, he just sets it on top of his compressor that vibrates a bit, or he sets it on the same trailer his compressor sets on, I should say, and it vibrates all the heavy stuff away from the lighter dusty stuff. So then he separates it that way. As far as the dust collection, I'm working with a local place that they do room filtration. They actually built a filtered room, we'll just say, for a friend of mine. And I talked to them about it a little bit, and they have all the stuff kind of on hand to build something like that. And they map it all out. That's who they actually recommended I do it with a container, because they had somebody do a similar setup with a container. And 20 by 20 containers, or 20-foot containers, I mean, are super cheap, at least here. What would you recommend for a true rose gold look? Base coat and top coat. Man, there isn't one. The thing about like true rose gold, if you're talking like what you see a piece of jewelry that's rose gold, which I hate rose gold, by the way. I know that doesn't matter, but rose gold's been one of those things that's always been super frustrating to me, because it's actually cheaper. It's cheaper material that costs more money for the consumer to buy, because rose gold is literally the crappy. It's about 10 karat gold, yellow gold, and then it has copper and tin, two of the cheapest metals on the planet. Well, copper is more expensive now. Tin, one of the cheapest, mixed in to give it the color, and then they charge more than it is for like 18 karat gold, which makes no sense at all. True rose gold, honestly, there's a color that a lot of people, every time they see it in my showroom, they talk about it being, they're like, oh, this is rose gold. It's not, but fireside copper is a good look. It doesn't have that same like reflective base. I saw that Prizmatic got rid of their illusion rose gold. Is gone. All those stupid expensive illusion colors are actually all gone. The gold, the true copper, or whatever it was, and the rose gold. I haven't ever found any that I think looks enough like rose gold to be like, oh, that's rose gold. People think fireside copper looks just like rose gold. So if that helps you, then awesome. We have 33 viewers, 32 likes. That's not enough likes, guys. I'm just kidding. That's actually super plenty, but I'm going to put this thing up to remind y'all. How long have we been streaming? I don't even know what any of the information is for this. Oh, wait. I can look at the time. So we've been up for an hour. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Stream health. All right. All right. So we're solid. More questions. Yeah, Jason. Well, wait till you see it. Don't commit to it till you see it. What if you hate it? What would be your best advice for combating Faraday effect on the complex car wheels and rims? Let's say old school BBS basket weave style. Okay. So a lot of that's going to be gun setup. So, or the gun that you're using. Like if you're using like a low end gun, you're going to have Faraday areas because there's not enough adjustability in that. One of the things in one of my recent videos, the ones there's purple faces in the video. I don't remember what number it is. It's in the 60s, like 65, or no, not 65. That's the unicorn busty one that's not up. Like 66 maybe, 67, 64. If you look at the way that I hung that wheel, I'm using gravity to help get into all the tight corners. You have to hang the wheel a little bit different. It's a little risky because stuff can drop on it. But it's a great way if you don't have a gun. If you're shooting a finicky color, like I was shooting a pain in the ass color, or you have like a finicky gun, that's not great. That's a great way to hang the wheels, which is just the wheel is face up, and you hang through the center of it basically. If you look at that video, that's probably the best way that I can explain to do it. Or just let me know what kind of gun you have, and I can maybe help, or some of the other guys can help in here, or the UKC Army page. A ton of people on there can like that or help with that. Just read the likes. Hey, 36 likes. Thanks, guys. Let's see. Where is the oven, the thermometer probe located in your oven? Because I'm making my own oven. Don't know where to put the probe. So mine's literally right outside my control box is on the side of my oven. It's right on the inside of the control box. So, on the inside of the oven at the control box level. It's probably 70% up the oven. I can measure it. If you shoot me an email, just unknowncodings@gmail.com. I can measure it and show you exactly, but it's like dead center front to back and probably about 70% of the way up. You don't want it near the elements, but you don't want it at the very top and you don't want it at the very bottom. So mine is exactly where Ted's Fab put it. And I was in my new oven setup. I'm actually using 2 probes for kind of a weird reason, but I'm going to set them up kind of the same way. One on each side, but same way. Let's see. No, good for reading the parts. Well, okay, so the temperature probe doesn't read the parts; it reads the oven temperature. You're gonna want to get yourself like a decent gun. Well, I can't think of the name. Infrared thermometer to check the parts. But beyond that, yeah, that probe doesn't check the temperature of the parts. So just keep that in mind. Can you suggest a good company that does stickers? I'm having issues. Stickers, Green Mountain. What kind of stickers, man? Like, what are you looking to have made? Are you looking for like masking, or are you looking for like advertising? Because I can tell you an answer to both. So just let me know. Just want to say I love the timing of your live video. I bet $20 you are a fan of 50 Cent. I mean, I do like 50 Cent, but why are you saying that? I'm like legitimately like I didn't start my live video. I mean, I'd started my live video at a specific time for a specific reason, but I don't know if that's the reason that you did that you're laughing about. It could be. I don't know, Chris. You're usually on the ball. Like you probably figured it out. I've done some research on companies and the pricing they've all posted online and what people. Because I know you felt like you were vague on it. That's kind of how I figured you would do it. Yeah, Josh. It's one of those things like, I could tell you how my pricing breaks down. Percentage wise could probably help you, but like dollars is not going to help you just because your area is going to be much different than mine. I get people that can't believe that I'll do a set of single stage wheels for $300, where that's literally like the going rate here for single stage 18s, like gloss black 18s would be $300 here. And people are like, what? Like, I would never do it for that. And I'm like, well, that's the rates here. Like I have to work within that. There's a couple places that don't work within that here, but there's also places that do it cheaper. There's I just saw a guy, another Facebook Marketplace ad for $180, so powder coat your wheels 2-stage. And it's just like, no sandblasting, probably no prep, probably paint right over, or powder coat right over top of the stickers or the tape for the weights, but, it is what it is. Up here in Phoenix, most coaters are here mostly focused on single coat stuff, so our shop is going towards your level. So to thank you for being the guy that helps us so much. Hey, man, no problem. Yeah, it's, I think I told you guys before, there's within 15-minute drive, there's 20 powder coaters near me, but most of them are industrial commercial. When people post online here local and they're asking for a powder coater, it's me and one other company that get mentioned, by 99% of the people. There's always a couple random people who get mentioned too. But it's myself, which is a one-man show, and then there's another there's a place called Armor Coatings here local that I think at one point they had like 13 employees or something. And, they do a lot of production work, but they also do kind of some custom stuff too. But yeah, it's custom for where it's at, man. Like I know there's people who love doing production work because it's worth the money, but I just, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. How do you measure the time in the oven between the base coat and the clear coat? So Mason, depends on the color, but the general rule for me is I'll do flow out in a couple minutes, depending on what the color is. If the color is like sensitive to heat, or sensitive to some other variables. I've had colors that maybe I didn't let cure long enough, so when I put clear on them, they wrinkled in the oven. So I know that there's some that are susceptible to that. But most of the time it's flow out, like full flow out, like glossy, looks the way that it should look, flow out in a couple minutes, and then pull them out of the oven, let them cool, spray the clear. JS Coatings, your message got held for review. Oh, White Pony, thanks for the join. I don't know why it just said... God, I don't know. Every time I hit this button, this literally drops to the very bottom. I'm so sorry, you guys. Hey, I have to scroll back and forth through this like an idiot. How do you measure the time in the oven between the base coat? Oh, okay, I already read that. Prismatic. Oh, there it is. Prismatic. Illusion rose gold was shit. Yeah, no, you're right. Looked terrible. It looked terrible, and it wasn't. The biggest issue with it, there was no consistency to that color. Everybody who sprayed it hated it. Ironically, the Illusion Rose Gold, or the Illusion True Copper looked more rose gold than the rose gold and was much more consistent, but still terrible. Yeah, Chris is making a good suggestion. Don't buy a silhouette or circuit. Those are way too, or that you're thinking of the cricket, I think. Those are way too expensive. You can literally buy a plotter like mine, the plotter I have sitting right over here, for a few $100s. Software is very easy to use. So, Jason, bring back the cute girls to your videos. Hey, so random that you bring this up. I have 4 videos coming up that are all with cute girls. So, and since we're on the topic of cute girls, and some of you guys have been asking about the shirts. I know that these aren't on the website yet, obviously, but you'll be able to see them when the website goes live. I'm going to throw up some of the shirt designs. I realize that this is a terrible picture, but it's one of my favorite pictures of. This is one of my older shirts. I have another picture of this shirt, which I'll be putting up, but at least you get to see a cute girl briefly in this shirt. And then let me go through some of these. So that's the old one it's called the Hood. It's a long story as to why we called it that. This is the Unknown versus Everybody shirt. This is actually based on a shirt that I saw online for something else, like some rap battle stuff, I think, actually. But the joke is, at least in my area, it was always like me versus like all the other powder coaters. It's kind of like how it's played out because like I'm the custom guy for the most part. There's some other coaters now too that popped up since that, but this shirt's always been like a big seller, so I figured this is a good opportunity to like bring this one back. The UKC Army shirt, I should have another picture of this as well. Just the UKC Army logo. I actually meant to have it in this video today, but I couldn't get the file to work right in OBS here. But this is actually one of my favorite shirts. It's like kind of a graffiti UKC and then the Army in a different color. But it's awesome. This is one of my favorite logos of all time for sure. Yeah, there's another variable on that logo. Hopefully, Jason, this is at least making you feel a little bit better for cute girls. But this is the same logo, whatever. This is on a baseball tee, which I usually do these for the girls that work in my booths and stuff. Most of the time, all these will just be regular T-shirts and hoodies. We're actually just included hoodies too. I figured out a good source for like soft, comfortable hoodies, which was a pain. And then this is one of the original ones. This is the same one that you see. It's this one here. So yeah, this is one of the oldest shirts and one of my favorites. This actual picture is literally a picture of me that was then photoshopped to be this, or it wasn't done in Photoshop. It was done in Illustrator, but same. So I just realized that on here, on this picture, it looks like there's a questionable white stain on her shirt, and I think it's just in the picture. So don't judge me. That's awkward now. All right. Let me get back to these. Do you solely use Prizmatic, or do you ever order from Columbia Coatings, all powder paints? So I went over this a little bit earlier, Fat RC, but no. So I use Prizmatic 95% of my powder, honestly, except big box stuff. So gloss black, matte black, a couple clears, white, 2 silvers. I use Powdura from Sherwin-Williams. I use some IFS stuff, trying to avoid APP now for the most part. Never heard of Trick Coating Supply. Bought powder from Powder by the Pound one time, but realized that IFS actually made it, so I just ordered it from them the next time. Never ordered powder from Columbia Coatings. In fact, the only powder I've ever got from Columbia came when I bought my gun in 2008. I got like the starter kit or whatever. I don't know what it was called back then, but that's the only powder I've ever used from them. I don't believe Columbia makes their own powder, just like Powder by the Pound doesn't. They're all reboxing other people's stuff. All Powder Paints makes their own powder, but they also sell a couple powders from another company. So Trick Coating Supply, like I said, I don't know who that is. PM me on Facebook. My mechanic does. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. How many coating businesses are in my area? Kevin, so within a 15-minute drive, there's at least 20. I think when I looked on Google last time, there was actually more than that. I put it within like a 15-mile radius or something. I don't remember how exactly I did it, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, there's literally one down the street. I can smell their ovens when I go outside. They do mostly trailers and big stuff. They have 2 giant walk-in ovens, and then that's on. So I'm at 2451 South. That gives you a reference. They're at 2700 South. There is another powder coater at 2100 South. So within 60-second drive in each direction, there's 2 powder coaters. There's another one at 13 South. They're all over around here. There's actually, I'm told that there's a new powder coater popped up like 6 blocks from me, maybe. They do other stuff too, but they offer powder coating in house. So I don't know much about it. Honestly, I don't know. White Pony, I think I already said thank you, but if not, thank you for joining the squad here. Danny Weaver, thank you so much. I love your videos and appreciate it. Hey, no problem, man. Always glad I can help. Black Label's just down the road from you. Dude, those guys are awesome. I mean, they definitely take this stuff real serious. And I'm not saying that in like a mocking or negative way in any way. They do awesome work. So, and they've been around forever. Or not forever, but I mean, they've been around a really long time. It's like a name that I know, and I don't pay a ton of attention to other powder coaters, honestly. There's a total of like 25 in Phoenix. Oh, is that powder coaters? Yeah. Thanks for suggesting hanging the wheel in a different fashion. I'll give that a try. I have a Gemma Optiflex. Oh, well, if you have an Optiflex, wow. Optiflex B. You don't have like a recommended setting for tough Faraday areas, Brody? You should have one of the generic settings, like a preset for Faraday areas. You might want to check that out. I don't know if you've been able to do that, but your videos make every week better. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Caesar Enriquez. How many hours do you work a day? Oh, man, this is embarrassing. A 12-hour workday is really short. We'll say I work a lot of hours. I work enough hours that it's caused like problems in relationships, or all you do is work and all you do is spend time at the shop, whatever, that type of thing. But I like what I do. So as much as people hear that I work, 14 and 16, 18-hour days. I can't even tell you how many times I've worked 3 and 4 days straight on literally no sleep. Sten, I don't know if Sten is still in here, but Sten has kind of powered through those situations with me. He used to come check on me and make sure that I was okay. So, I'd say 12, 14, 16-hour days are pretty normal, Caesar. I'm not recommending that to anybody, but I'm saying if you want to grow your business and you have the work ethic and the willingness to do it, don't let it stop you. I mean, don't let the fact that 16 hours sounds like it sucks stop you. I've always worked a lot of hours, and even in previous jobs, well before I was a powder coater, there was a job. My last real job, actually, when I did the exit interview, they asked me if I knew how many hours I averaged a week for that company, and I didn't know. I knew it was a lot because I was working 7 days a week, 12, or I thought at the time 12 hours a day, whatever. And it turned out I averaged 110 hours a week for that company, and it was a bummer to leave, and they did a lot to try to keep me there. And I was just like, no, I have things that I would like to do in my life, and working for other people didn't quite cover that for me. So, what do you think the average PMT is for flow out? 2 something. I mean, it's like true gloss flow out. I'd say, it depends. There's a lot of variables, obviously, but I would say 200 degrees is you're going to see the gloss of whatever your finish is. That's not on a matte. Obviously, it's still going to be glossy before it goes matte. But I would guess 200 degrees. That's a really hard question to answer just because, putting a piece of sheet metal in, it's not going to get anywhere near 200 degrees and it's going to gloss out almost immediately. Versus putting a wheel in, you're going to have to get it to at least 200 degrees to see flow out. So, Gator, sorry I missed some of your Q&A. Did you ever test? No. Eastwood refunded the money that I paid them, and I just never bothered anymore. By the time I went through the nonsense with them, there was so many reports online of the PCS 1000 being just a piece of absolute garbage that I just never bothered. Even if I get their ads all the time on Facebook, which is hilarious, and all the comments are people complaining about how much their gun sucks. So I don't know if people have had. I haven't seen anybody that's had great experiences. I've seen a lot of negative. If there's positive experiences out there, I'm sure that somebody would come up with them, but I haven't seen them anywhere. Oh man, I just scrolled all the way to the bottom again. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's so weird that I scroll this down a tiny bit and it immediately jumps to the bottom. Evan, love the videos. Building an oven and getting my sandblaster set up so I can start powder coating parts of my 65 Corvette. Oh, that's cool. That's how I started, man. Powder coating parts for myself. So be careful. It gets out of hand real fast after you after a couple of friends realize that you powder coat. Um, Jason, I'm assuming that's to all the girls, not to my pretty face, but that's fine, bro. I'm not offended. Not offended. Best part of this live sesh for some is the best part the girls. Is that what you're saying? Here, I'll hook you back up. Oh wait, I don't know if I can do. Oh yeah, yeah. There's other ones. I was trying to find like pictures that would be suitable and actually show enough of the shirt, but hopefully you guys at least enjoy that. Brody, complex setting for a single coat on a wheel. When shooting a second coat, drop your UA down to around 4 or 5. Yeah, Fat RC is right. I mean, that's a reasonable recommendation. You should have a preset on that to deal with. I mean, a basket weave is not like a crazy hard wheel. I mean, it's a weave. Obviously, any mesh wheel like that's going to be a pain. But that's not like it's not like you have really deep spoke areas or anything wild that you're going to have an issue getting into. Josh, how long does Rimstrip last? Do you have to be a registered company to get it? You do have to have a business license because they require a W-9. That's not even the company who sells it. The EPA requires that they supply your W-9 information. So you do have to be a registered company to get it, mostly because the EPA, though, it's not them doing that. How long does it last? It lasts me a couple months. I don't know. It's really just a matter of how well you maintain it and how well how well you maintain it is probably the biggest thing. I recommend putting 2 inches of water on top of it. The water will separate from it, and it also helps with the fumes quite a bit. Keeping the lid on it is probably the biggest thing. You got to remember that methylene chloride-based products. So methylene chloride boils at 100 degrees, so it doesn't take much temperature to start evaporating all your methylene chloride, which is the biggest active ingredient in the stripper. So you just got to be wary of that. But I'd say you can get a couple months out of it. I get a couple months out of it, and I constantly have wheels in it. Like I have wheels in it right now, and I'm in here doing this. Actually, that's not true. I took them out right before I started this. But I constantly have wheels in it. I can't do much right now. I can definitely put wheels through the stripper one-handed. How do I get rid of the old stuff? So there's a couple different ways. I want to say I've covered this before. Maybe. But so I can put the waste product, the old paint, whatever, you can dry that out, and then you can dispose of it the same way you can as like latex paint. So your dump, local landfill, whatever, is going to have an area specifically for hazardous material, and that's where that's going to go. I ended up putting it in a barrel, and then I have a company that just comes and picks it up. They're actually just done it again recently, and I just load up a 55-gallon drum with it, and they dispose of it the same way. It costs a little bit more to do it that way, but then I don't have to move a big-ass thing of chemical stripper, used chemical stripper, basically. But yeah, that's the best way to do it. I've actually seen people spread the stuff out on a tarp and let the sun kind of evaporate all the chemical nastiness out of it, and it's left with dry flakes too. So for your blast room, are you just using a Harbor Freight pot, or are you getting something bigger? I had to get something bigger. The blasting that I plan to be doing in this room is going to be a little more involved. The bigger compressor is, playing a role in that. So I went up to a pot that I think this pot at a bare minimum has to run at 40 CFM, if I remember correctly. So had to go a little bit bigger for that. It hasn't even been delivered yet. I haven't even got any information as to whether or not it's shipped. So I had a weird request, and they went back and forth. The pots, the place that I ordered the pots from, they only come white. I think they actually have their higher end version comes in blue, and I wanted them black with gold flake because all my stuff is black with gold flake. So I actually agreed to pay them a ridiculous amount of money to make mine black with gold flake. I mean, a ridiculous amount of money knowing that I know how to powder coat, but I didn't want to have to disassemble it and try to figure out how to blast it all and redo this stuff. So I'm sure mine's going to take a little bit longer, but it'll be black and gold, which I don't know how well that's going to last sitting in the blast room, but I might put something on it to try to help it. I'm lucky I live in Aruba, and we are the only 2-person who powder coat here. Well, that's good. There's probably not a ton of people there, though, right? If there was way more people, you'd have probably more demand for more powder coaters. But being the only people who powder coat, that's got to be awesome. Brandon, when you love your work, is it work? No, I mean that's the thing. Like I just don't. I prefer this job over listening to anybody else tell me how to do a job. So, and I like my job. I like seeing all the cool stuff that comes out of the oven and being involved in cool projects and cool cars. I just did a quote on a job for a very, very, when I say rare exotic, like I don't know how many there are in America, but it's well under 10. And I got to see this car. I think when I looked at it, when he started the car, or he even started, when he opened the doors, there was only 7 miles on the car. And he's already pulling the wheels off, and we're doing some kind of wild stuff on part of the suspension and the wheels. So, sweet, you're still alive over here. That is true. I don't know for how much longer, but were you at 7? Oh, you're asking somebody else. Let's see. So does the water check work on different types of methylene chloride products? It should work on all methylene chloride products. Water technically dilutes it in a mixture, but when it's just sitting, it stays separate. So what you'll notice is when you go to drag, like say you've had some wheels in the stripper and you go to drag it out, what ends up happening is what ends up happening is when you go to pull the wheel out, you'll see the layer of water that's on the top starts knocking all the stuff off immediately. It's definitely the preferred method for keeping the smell in too. Nothing works quite as good as that, honestly. Water trick. Let's see. How do you read that? I'll try that too. Thank you for the suggestion. How do you get all the old powder and paint out of the acid? I don't. JS. So I've gone back and forth with a couple of people, not like in an argument sense, just like trying to figure this out sense. So there are people who take all the remnants out, because in my belief, so if all the remnants stay in there, the acid is constantly attacking those remnants, meaning the acid is now getting weaker by default, right? Just because it's constantly attacking something, because that's what it thinks it's supposed to do. Now, with that being said, is the amount that you lose in trying to clean all that out enough to negate the fact that you're like losing a little bit of the aggressiveness, I guess, of the acid, if that makes sense? So I don't take it out. I know there are other powder coaters who do, and they just use like a big strainer thing. I actually have one that a buddy of mine made. He took a piece of like not like mesh, but like steel with holes cut in it. I can't think of the name, but it's got holes cut in it, and he made it the same size as the bottom of my barrel, a 55-gallon drum, and it's got like edges. It's like picture like half a drum cut off or whatever, and then you just end up lifting the whole thing out, and it pulls out a bunch of stuff. I don't do that anymore. To me, it's just not worth it. I'm just not going to do that way. I'll let it sit in there, and I'll constantly add new Rimstrip to it just to make sure the acid level stays up. You can also buy just methylene chloride. Like here locally, I can buy 5 gallons of it for like $80 and pour that in, because that's really the only thing that goes away in the process. The phenol, the formic acid, and the hydrofluoric acid don't really weaken necessarily. I mean, over time, the hydrofluoric acid does, but it's a long time. So, Jesus, I don't know, man. You missed everything. You missed at least an hour and nearly half of information. But this video will be back up, so everybody will be able to go back and watch it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, give this video a freaking thumbs up, folks. I'm trying to increase this. Let me see if I can get through more of this shenanigans. Let's see. Off limits, you've heard people say don't put water. The thing is, yeah, I mean, like, in theory, mixing water with methylene chloride dilutes methylene chloride, but it also separates it. You just have to watch it. I mean, you can see it happen. You'll literally see the layer of water that sits on top, because most of your paint remnants that will float up will not go into that level of water. They'll be sitting right below it. So, What do you recommend someone operating a shop on a residential property do for instead of if you don't want to do chemical stripping in-house and you're not in a position to just blast everything, you can have another shop or another place do your sandblasting. That's what I did for the first, God, I don't even know how many years. I had another place do all. It's actually the place I buy all my sandblasting stuff from now, all my media at least. They did all my blasting for me. They charged me. I was bringing them enough wheels. I think they were only charging me like $15 to $18 a wheel, and I didn't have to strip and do anything. I'd literally bring them a wheel. The only thing that wasn't true with was like the European wheels with the epoxy primer would cost a little bit more, like $25 a wheel. What you can do, I mean, if you know, John, I don't know what your budget is necessarily for chem stripping, but there's a green solve is not a hazardous chemical. It's a citric-based acid, smells pretty much like oranges. You could definitely go that route. It's not illegal to have. It's not. Nobody's going to complain about it. If anything, your neighbors are going to say your garage smells good or whatever it might be. The downside is it's incredibly expensive. I think a setup, enough green solve to strip for, or a tank from green solve and enough chemical to fill the tank to strip 4 wheels at a time. I want to say it was like $12,000 when I looked into it. It just wasn't worth it for me. And it has to be heated. It has to be heated to 180 degrees, which is another bummer for some people. What company to use? Because I'm looking for one. I use B17. The one company quoted $700. Gary, so in the description of this video and all my other videos, there's a phone number for Matt at Express Chem or Chem Express. I use a product called Rimstrip. It is near that price, but includes shipping. So might be something to look into. I use spray and stripping is good. I use like 3 and still paint doesn't come off. Space stripping. What is the stripping? Is it Jesus underestimated or Jesus? Anyway, are you talking like spray on stripper? Most of the spray on stripper is not going to work at all for anything. Most of it, they had to pull methylene chloride out back. This was November of last year is when they changed that law. Methylene chloride was the only thing that was even working in most of those, and now they can't even use it. They can't use it in the products you buy at like Home Depot and things like that. So the best thing to do is to find a reasonable stripper or pay somebody local to do it. You know, either blast it or strip your stuff for you. Danny Weaver, what's the green diamond distributor near you that you were buying media from? Blast Products in North Salt Lake City, Utah. Blast Products is awesome. I've used them literally since I started powder coating, so 2008. They're 5 minutes from me. So, you know, it's easy for me to just like run over and grab whatever I want. I just saw that you asked for Matt's email, so let me see if I have any information. Oh, I didn't realize how many new members. We have 17 members now. Thank you guys. Let me see if I have. I'm sure I have Matt's email. I just don't know where it would be. Let's type in Matt in this search here. Sorry, guys. I know this is riveting over here at this point. Damn, I don't know how to put this email. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to post his email here in the chat. So you guys all have that. I'll actually put that down in the description of all my videos from now on as well. So 7M Performance, thanks. 99 cents. And popcorn. Can't complain about popcorn. Have you ever left part on the rim strip for too long? Gus, I have as a test. Not super early into my powder coating career, but it was probably like 2012 or 13. There was a kid. He might still be a powder coater. I don't want to say his name, but he had left a wheel in stripper for way too long. I think B17, and the wheel looked like a sponge when it came out. I think it was a factory Chevy wheel, if I remember correctly, and the wheel literally looked like a sponge when it came out. And he tried to cover it and powder coat it over top of it. And he actually did, with a couple layers of powder, eventually made it so you couldn't tell it was terrible. But obviously by then the wheel is super unsafe. That wheel would have been super brittle. I put a part in just to see what would happen. I took just a lip, a 6061, T6 lip that I pulled off of a wheel that was damaged and put it in there just to see, and it does in fact eat it. I mean, it's no joke. And I did it with another part too, another aluminum part that had some corrosion on it, and I wanted to see if the corrosion would help the process go faster. See if it would eat through things faster. And it does. So if the metal is already compromised to some degree there, it ends up getting down into the metal, into the pores of the metal, and eating into the metal much, much faster. So, let's see, you got Matt's email. Okay, Jesus, an estimated. Yeah, the spray foam depot, man. That stuff used to work okay. There was a couple, I think the can was like a yellow, kind of like a mango color. I don't know why I think that is a color, but like an orangish yellow, and it was just called Stripper, and it came with like a little spray bottle. That stuff actually used to work really well. The stuff that you're going to get there now is not going to work at all. It might do some stuff on powder, but it's going to do almost nothing, or on paint rather, but it's going to do almost nothing on powder, and it's also not going to do much on some paints and some primers. So I don't know if you're in a location where getting a better stripper is not an option, but like I said above, or said a couple minutes ago, one of the things you definitely can do is have somebody else do your blasting, and it sucks because it's an expense, but you also don't have the startup expenses that you might otherwise have if you have somebody else that can do your blasting for you. Gus, it's definitely possible to leave it in there too long, bro. Like, not a joke. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous what happens to. Daniel, no problem. Gus is laughing. Oh, 710 performance with that $4.99. Hey, thanks, man. I'm recovering. I'm just doing the one arm thing for right now, and it's definitely a bummer, but it's making it work. I'm making the best of it right now. So we got we've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes already, guys. Once again, I'm just gonna throw up a bunch of these shirts again. I don't know why I keep using that picture, but you guys can see some of the shirts that will be on the online store this week or this weekend. Might actually be up tomorrow if I get off my ass and finish going over the last little bit of pricing for things. But all the random shirts, I think there's 6 designs total. I think I'm only showing like 4 right here. But there's 6 designs total coming out. All 5 of them are ones that I've had previously. There's one brand new one. So the brand new one I'm pretty stoked about. The colors are pretty wild, very neon-y. And do that. Let's see. Andrew, wow. Let's see. I've seen people put paint stripper in really hot water, come out with nothing that is B17. You guys talking about? Yeah. So in hot water, so methylene chloride and a couple other chemicals work better when warm. The better way to do it is to heat up your part and then spray or put whatever your chemical is if you're not in a position to like dip it. B17 is the same as Rimstrip, same basic compounds at least. They all have their own proprietary mix, obviously, but it's the same general stuff. If you are interested in B17, you might as well just get Rimstrip because it's cheaper and you get it faster. Can you rebake powder to sandblast easier? No. So sandblasting is a one-time chemical reaction. There's sandblasting. Powder coating, flow out, is a one-time chemical reaction. Once you do that process, you can heat it up to the point you can burn it off because it's plastic, but you're definitely not going to want to do that on an aluminum part. There are places here, we have a huge powder coater here, the biggest oven in the state here. They also have the largest bake-off oven. They do a lot of steel stuff, and they recoat a lot of steel stuff for the same. They do a lot of production work. And they send these big steel fixtures through an oven that literally like torches the crap out of the powder and burns it off, and then they go through a rinse process, a wash process, and then they repowder coat them. And those ovens are running constantly for them. So you can definitely burn powder off, but not on aluminum, which is mostly what I powder coat, obviously. Rebaking powder to make sandblasting easier is not going to help you either. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. If you could bake something up in the 500 degree range, it's going to make a lot of the solid tone colors and a lot of metallics and a lot of clears are going to be more brittle. But I don't think they're going to make a huge difference, honestly. They're not going to make a huge difference in the way that it blasts off. And blasting powder off sucks anyway, honestly. You're stand a really good chance of damaging the aluminum underneath if you try to blast it off. Yeah, 710. I'm not overdoing it. I'm not doing anything. I have kind of some minions doing some of my work for me, and I'm basically stuck on errand duty, which is awesome since I can drive pretty effectively with one hand. The biggest problem that I'm running into now is like getting in and out and putting my seatbelt on. Just I can do it just fine. It just takes forever. Just sucks. So a couple more days, or on the 9th, we'll get this splint off and see if we're in a new position to move forward. 710 is also doing a good job on YouTube. Oh yeah, 710's got a channel very similar to mine. Does powder coating shenanigans just like we do here. You have that 6.9 head. Yeah, that's how I roll. Other than 10x, what are some other blasting media that you have heard good reviews about? I cannot get green diamond here in Wisconsin. DuPont Starblast. It's really the only one. I mean, like, red garnet is great. I know there's a bunch of guys on my channel that have been using from Tractor Supply. I don't remember what it is. Black something. It's coal slag. It's very dusty. Very dusty. So breaks down real fast, but I heard it's incredibly cheap. It's like $50 or 50-pound bag is like $6 or something like that. So that's at Tractor Supply, if I remember correctly. But to be fair, I've never used it, so I'm going based off what other people say. I've used green diamond, aluminum oxide, red garnet. That's pretty much it. I use Black Beauty, which I think they still have. That's not for use on aluminum necessarily. Black Beauty is a very aggressive, very hard media that's for steel pretty much exclusively. Let's see. Love your work. I'm new to the game. What would be effective leaving it part in the oven, baking it at 400 degrees for longer periods of time? Is it Manuel? Hopefully it's Manuel. Manuel is over-curing powder can sometimes do nothing. It depends on the powder. There's a lot of variables involved. Can sometimes do nothing, but the thing that it will tend to do is discolor powders. So anything in the, we'll say like white, orange, red, yellow, pinks, things like that. Some of the brighter colors will darken quite a bit if they're over-cured. Clear will yellow quite a bit. White yellows as well. Orange gets real dark, like a real terrible looking color, same as the yellow. One of the other issues that you run into is how brittle it gets. It's much less, its impact resistance goes down quite a bit. Abrasion resistance goes down as well. But you're talking like a pretty big difference in time. You know, we're not talking you overcured it by 6 minutes. You're talking you overcured it by 40 minutes or something like that. So the other thing that you're going to run into is, like, say you did a set of wheels like that, and you had a set of wheels that sat in the oven, and once they reach their temperature, hit their cure time of 10 minutes or whatever, and then you let them sit in there for that much longer, those wheels, despite your oven only being 400 degrees, those wheels are going to keep soaking up heat, and they're going to get much hotter than 400 degrees. So that's something that you definitely got to pay attention to. That's, you know, a good infrared thermometer works like a champ. I had a guy ask me also on the topic of infrared thermometers. Infrared thermometers do not work on chrome powder or any highly reflective powder, actually. We did some testing. I put a part in the oven and cured it, or put it in the oven in a 400-degree oven. I left an area of the part bare aluminum so that I could get an actual temperature reading off of that, like, kind of, it's like a probably 3-inch circle. The part itself, if I sprayed on the chrome, it would register. I think we only got it to about 326 degrees to register when shooting actual chrome with the infrared thermometer. But that part that was bare got to like 417 degrees or something. So you're never going to get an accurate reading with an infrared shooting chrome. There's a couple different ways to go about handling this. One thing you can do is take a similar piece of metal, thickness, material, whatever, and put in with your part
and just as like a reference point, put it near your part so it's getting the same amount of heat, whatever. You can use that to actually shoot. You're not going to powder coat it, obviously, but if you're shooting a chrome base on something and you need an accurate cure temperature, you can then use the infrared thermometer on that part and get a reasonable reading, much more reasonable than you're going to get spraying the chrome powder or shooting the chrome powder with the infrared thermometer. Let's see. When are we doing another live info? We're doing another live. I'm going to do one Sunday, but I think I'm going to have to figure out how to break this down because I'm going to be doing a members only live stream, but I want to do 2 public ones every week as well. So I'm probably going to do it this Sunday. Check the community page this week, or you can join the Facebook page, the UKC Army Facebook page, if you want to go that route, because I'll be posting updates and stuff in there. If you become a member here, which is you hit the little join button, you'll get into the members only things. And there's not going to be any like crazy members only live chats. I just figured like it's going to narrow it down so that I can get to more questions for the paying members as best I can. So, oh no, damn seatbelts. At least you have some help. Keep it up, man. I'll figure it out soon. Yeah. It doesn't help that I'm fat and I have to put the seatbelt on either. If I was skinny, I'm guessing this would be a much easier process. But yeah, Kevin, Black Beauty. That's the coal slag that I was thinking about. I can never remember the name. Oh no, Black Beauty is not. Black Beauty is the aggressive steel stuff. What's the black coal slag is like Black Diamond or something, isn't it? I think. Kind of funny a discussion to listen to all these prices and how easy it is for you guys to get all these products. It's not that easy to set up here in Canada. Off limits, there's got to be. I mean, you guys got a lot of empty space up there and a lot of, I assume, rock and stuff. Like there's got to be blasting products accessible up there to some degree. I don't know what they are. I don't live there, so I've never had to look. But I don't know. Maybe I'll look around and see what I can find up there. I mean, it's not like there's not powder coaters and stuff up there. I know you guys have way less population than we have, so there's less demand for everything technically. But you would think that, I mean, blasting products is just, mostly just like stuff that comes from the earth. It's not like there's a lot of variable in that. Red labeled. Oh, yeah, Black Diamond from Tractor Supply is 99 coal slag. That's what I was thinking of. Wyatt, I use Tractor Supply, one, due to ease of access, proper ventilation to be prepared for lots of dust. Yeah, it does work pretty well. That's what I've seen. A lot of the, when I heard it was coal slag, I was like, well, that's got to be super soft, right? There's no way for it to not be super soft. So, I would assume that, when it's soft, that means it's going to be very dusty just by default. Only have used on small parts. Shackle. Okay, let's see what John said. Same red sand. Diamond. When are powder coating system being available from you? Need to upgrade. Raekwon Willis, they are technically available right now, but honestly, like as fast as I'm getting them in, I got 9 and then 9. No, I got 10 and then I got 19 and then I got 20, and it's like I'm selling them faster than I can even get them in. So shoot me an email. It's just unknowncoatings@gmail.com. I'll go over kind of some of the options. I need to make sure all the previous gun guys are all taken care of, and we're going to keep moving up with these guns because these are, I had no idea that they would sell this well, honestly. I had some expectation of just holding on to a few of them when I bought the initial 10, and then before they even showed up, they were all gone. So I got to make sure all my current people are taken care of, and then we'll kind of get into some more people. But my next order of them is I already told my sales rep that the next order is for 50. So I'm going to have a bunch in stock. So, geez, underestimated, bro. My Eastwood Ghetto gun sucks. Yeah, I do not want to trade. But if you're looking for a gun, let me know. So, members only giveaways. JS, I actually have a couple ideas for a giveaway for members only, but I want to hit 25 members, and we're at, I think, 17 or something right now. Oh, wait, I can look over here. Sorry, I have way too many monitors and TVs in front of me currently. 17. It's 17 members right now. When I get to 25, I have like a cool idea for a giveaway, and it doesn't matter what level you are in that giveaway. So it'll definitely be worth. The thing that I'll be giving away is definitely worth the $40 that you get for the UKC Army Unicorn Pussy level. So Let's see. Zeus, off limits, where are you from? Canada. All right, you guys are talking about that. 710 is now talking to ZX Zeus. Can't wait to get mine. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Andrew, you're gone. I was like, can't wait, you're what? JS Coatings. Oh, hey, thanks for the $3 American, sir. I'm gonna use it to buy something real fancy. I appreciate everybody. All you guys that have done super chats and the guys that have become members during this. I think we got 5 or 6 new members joined the UKC Army membership thing during this live chat, or live whatever Q&A this is. All right, guys. Well, it's been almost 2 hours. Is there any other quick questions I can answer? Oh yeah, there was somebody asked me earlier about the stickers. I'm gonna try to hold them up with my one hand here. These are 2 of the sticker options that are going to be available. There's actually these same ones, but not in the weird holographic look. I just did that. Bunch of lanyards coming out as well. This is the black and gold version, but then they come in all sorts of colors. These are actually not the lanyards; these are the wristlets. But the lanyards are just bigger than these and have breakaways on them. So more merch is going to be coming up. All that stuff, like I said, will be up on the page this weekend at a bare minimum. Might even be up as early as tomorrow, like I said. So tomorrow the U.S. already networked into a lot of consumables, more like hospitals appeared, man, areas restrictions. Let's see. Hurry with the websites. I'm going to spend some bucks on shirts. Bellin, McKenzie, and Hamilton is who I deal with. Oh, you guys are okay. Talking to each other. Yeah, Daniel, I'm working on it, man. I promise. I'm sure that you've seen some of the shirts by now. I also just realized that a bunch of you guys have commented and I didn't reply because I had turned off this notification thing that kept telling me every time I got a comment. So I'm going to go back and reply to a bunch of comments tonight. So anybody who's commented on videos and stuff, I apologize for not getting back to you on some of these things. Automotive apparel. I have a question between coatings when adding a second color. What temperature you let the wheel cool to for adding the second coat after the first coat flows out? So I go, I do flow out, full flow out of whatever the base coat might be. Plus I do 3 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever. There's going to be some variables, obviously, in that. But let it get to full flow out and pull it out. I won't spray powder on a wheel that's above 150 degrees. I mean, there's no reason to. Assuming that your gun allows you to spray powder and stick it to a cold part. My shop, in the winter, the shop gets fairly cold, and I'll spray a wheel that's 50 degrees, and it works just fine. So definitely shouldn't be spraying wheels hot. I actually have one of the only videos that I have fully finished now and edited. I just got to add some of the new stuff to the video that I've kind of come up with since that video originally got edited. Shows some of the issues with spraying hot versus spraying cold, and if you're going to spray hot, what the right ways are to go about that, because there is no technical right way to spray hot, but there's definitely ways that can make it more reasonable, more user friendly, get you a decent looking product in the end. So peace, my people. Have a great night. Love you. God bless. Off limits and Zeus. I'm gonna end the stream here in a minute, but it's gonna kill the live chat for you guys, and I don't want to do that. I mean, I don't want to ruin your conversation, so I'm just letting you know ahead of time that's gonna be happening. If you guys are still in here and haven't given a thumbs up, you should 10 out of 10 do that. You can make this thing pop up numerous times. I think you can actually make this giant in here too. Yeah, giant. Anyway, you guys feel free to add me. Social media and stuff's all below. Awesome, thank you for the help. Richard, okay, yeah, I can call you after the Q&A. White Pony won't let me thumbs up again. Damn, why not? Can I get a yeah? What? What's a yeah? I mean, you can't get it from me, but. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. I guess 2 hours again. I keep trying to do these only for an hour, but I keep getting so many questions that I just end up doing 2 hours. So, thanks for everything. I will. There'll be another video going up tomorrow, probably about 3 o'clock my time, Mountain Standard Time. Right around 3 o'clock, there'll be one going up, and the Unicorn Pussy video I'm gonna be finishing up, which is episode 65. Will go up the next day. So I know 65 is delayed because this is we're at 69 now, I think. But anyway, you guys get the idea. I appreciate it, and you guys have a good night.